Let me ask you something. Have you ever had a moment where you stopped and really thought about your life? Like something has to change. Not in a dramatic way, not like everything's falling apart, just because deep down inside you know that you're capable of more growth, more clarity, more intention. There comes a point where we realize we can't keep living on autopilot, where we understand that if things are going to shift, we have to be more intentional about how we're living our life. And at that moment is often the beginning of real change. For many people, growth does not always begin with motivation. It begins with awareness. There comes a quiet moment when you start realizing the patterns that are in your life. You notice how you spend your time. You notice the habits that shape your day. You notice the thoughts that influence your decisions. And suddenly you notice something really important. Life isn't just happening to you. Your life is being shaped by the choices you make every single day. That realization can be uncomfortable for a lot of us, but that realization is just acknowledging that if we want to change, change has to come. That moment is incredibly powerful because awareness is the first step towards transformation. Many of us are on autopilot. We follow routines without even questioning them. We repeat habits without examining them to see if they're actually helping us grow. We accept patterns because they've just been always there. And when life feels stagnant, we often assume that something external has to change. But sometimes a deeper shift needs to happen internally. Sometimes the real transformation happens when we stop and pause and ask, am I living intentionally? Or am I simply reacting to life as it's happening? Taking your life seriously often starts when you start asking those types of questions. One of the most powerful mindset shifts a person can make is removing blame from responsibility. Now, responsibility doesn't mean blaming yourself for everything that has happened in your life. Look, life is complex. Circumstances, experiences, challenges all play a role. But responsibility means recognizing that you still have influence over how your story continues. You have responsibility over habits, or how you respond to challenges, over the direction you choose to move next. When people start taking responsibility over their lives, something interesting happens. They suddenly stop waiting. They stop hoping that something outside will suddenly change everything. Instead, they start asking different questions. What can I do today that can take my life in a better direction? That shift in thinking is incredibly powerful. Taking your life seriously also involves emotional development. It means becoming more aware of your inner world, your fears, your discomfort, your thoughts, your reactions, your motivations. Most people think about external achievements when they think about improving their lives. But emotional maturity plays an equally important role. Because if your internal world is chaotic and unexamined, external success won't necessarily bring fulfillment. Emotional growth revolves on learning how to reflect, learning how to recognize when certain patterns or beliefs are limiting you, learning how to respond to life with awareness rather than reaction. When people start developing that level of self-awareness, people start making more intentional decisions. And those choices gradually reshape their lives. Another important realization is that meaningful change rarely happens overnight. People often imagine transformation as something dramatic, but most lasting changes begins with small decisions repeated constantly. Small improvements of how you think, small improvements of how you spend your time, small improvements in the habits that you practice every single day. Over time, they create momentum, and momentum builds confidence. Confidence encourages more actions, and slowly the direction of your life begins to shift. Taking your life seriously does not require perfection. It requires intention. At some point, most people experience clarity, a moment where they realize that a life that they want doesn't just simply appear. It has to be built through awareness and through intention, through the choices that are made day by day. Taking your life seriously does not require you to be rigid or harsh to yourself. It means recognizing the value of your time, your energy, and your potential, and living in a way that reflects that value. Because the truth is, your life is not something that happens someday in the future. Your life is unfolding literally right now. And the moment you begin approaching it with intention, that's the moment real transformation begins. If this message resonated with you, please let me know in the comments. And once again, thank you so much for watching, and follow me for more intentional conversations about how we're going to grow, build confidence, and build courage. We're doing this together. Have a good one.